comes a time in everyone's life when we start doubting ourselves. It begins quietly. Maybe someone made a comment about how you look. Maybe you failed at something you tried so hard for. Maybe you watched someone else succeed and felt like you're just behind. It doesn't scream at first. It whispers, "You're not enough," and slowly, you begin to believe it. That, right there, is insecurity.
Insecurity isn't just about appearance or confidence. It's a seed that grows quietly in your mind and touches every part of your life. How you see yourself, how you treat others, how you dream, how you love, and how much you believe you're allowed to take up space in this world.
We live in a world that profits from your self-doubt. Companies sell you beauty products by first convincing you that you're not already beautiful. Social media sells lifestyles by first showing you what you supposedly lack. We're constantly surrounded by filtered faces, highlight reels, success stories, and unrealistic standards, and all of it works silently to tell you, you need to be more. But here's the truth. You don't need to be taller, thinner, fairer, richer, more popular, or more perfect to be worthy of love, respect, and peace. You're already enough right now exactly as you are. You were never meant to be someone else. You were never meant to live life comparing your real story to someone else's best moments. Let's talk about where insecurity comes from, because if we can understand it, we can begin to break it. Insecurity often comes from your past, from childhood experiences where you were ignored, bullied, or misunderstood. Maybe you had parents who were too critical. Maybe you had friends who made fun of you. Or maybe you lived in an environment where you always felt like you had to prove yourself to be seen. Those things matter. They stay with you. And when you're not aware of them, they keep controlling your thoughts, your choices, your relationships. But those past experiences, they don't define you. They happen to you. But they are not you. You are allowed to outgrow them. You are allowed to heal. Sometimes insecurity comes from comparison, and that's natural. It's human. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's healthy. Think about it. When you compare yourself to others, you're almost always comparing your worst with their best. You know your flaws and failures, but you don't see theirs. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their spotlight. Comparison makes you feel like you're falling behind. But what if I told you, there is no behind? Everyone is on their own timeline. Some people succeed at 20 and burn out at 30. Others are lost at 25 and thriving at 40. Life is not a race, it's a journey. You don't need to move fast. You need to move real. Insecurity also comes from fear of being judged, fear of failing, fear of being abandoned, fear of not being loved. But let me tell you this, fear is a liar. It tells you that if you show your true self, people will walk away. But the truth is, the more honest you are, the more real connections you attract. You see, the right people don't love you for your perfection. They love you for your presence, your kindness, your laughter, your energy. They love the way you make them feel, not the way you look on paper or in a selfie. So if you're hiding parts of yourself out of fear, you're actually robbing the world of your light. And you're robbing yourself of the peace that comes with being fully you. Let's talk about appearance insecurity, because this is something so many people silently carry. We grow up being told how we should look. Clear skin, six-pack abs, curves in the right places, perfect teeth, smooth hair, tall, fair, thin, strong. The list never ends, and the more we chase it, the more we feel like we're falling short. But beauty is not a number on a scale. It's not the size of your waist or the clarity of your skin. Beauty is energy. It's confidence. It's kindness. It's authenticity. It's how you make others feel when you walk into a room. Some of the most magnetic people are not the most conventionally attractive. They're just the most comfortable in their own skin. They laugh without holding back. They speak without pretending. They walk with a presence that says, I belong. That's beauty. When you stop criticizing your body and start thanking it for carrying you through your hardest days, for keeping you alive, your whole perspective changes. You start living, instead of obsessing over how you look while doing it. Insecurity also affects relationships. Maybe you overthink every message. Maybe you feel like you're not good enough for your partner. Maybe you get jealous easily or feel replaceable. That's not because you're weak. That's because something inside you still believes that love has to be earned, like you have to prove yourself to be worthy. But true love doesn't feel like a test. It feels like peace. It feels like being seen without trying. And the moment you accept yourself, you stop chasing people who don't. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You just need to be honest. Be you, loudly, genuinely, imperfectly. Now let's talk about social insecurity, the fear of being judged in groups, the feeling that you're awkward, boring, too quiet, or too loud. Most people are so caught up in their own insecurities, they aren't even noticing yours. While you're worrying about how you sound, they're worrying about how they look. Everyone is in their own head. Once you understand that, you free yourself from trying to perform. The most confident people aren't the loudest. They're the ones who are most comfortable with silence. They don't try to impress. They simply express. They show up as they are. And that's powerful. If you struggle with career insecurity, feeling like you're not smart enough, successful enough, or productive enough, you're not alone. In a world that's obsessed with hustle culture, it's easy to feel like you're not doing enough. But success isn't a straight line. It's messy. It's full of failure. And most people who made it struggled for years before anyone noticed. You don't need to be extraordinary to start. You just need to start. Every expert was once a beginner. Every master once felt like an imposter. What matters is not how fast you move, but how consistently you show up. You're not lazy. You're overwhelmed. You're not untalented. You're just doubting yourself too much. Give yourself permission to grow slowly, to learn, to make mistakes. That's how confidence is built. And don't forget, you are more than your productivity. Your value doesn't decrease when you rest. You are not a machine. You are a human being. You deserve peace, joy, time, love, regardless of how much you produce. Sometimes insecurity comes from trauma, from being rejected, from being betrayed, from hearing the wrong words at the wrong time. If that's your story, I want you to know, it wasn't your fault. You didn't deserve the pain you went through. But healing is your responsibility, not because you caused the pain, but because you deserve to be free from it. Healing doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It means choosing to not let it define your future. You are not your trauma. You are not your mistakes. You are not your insecurities. You are so much more. You have to stop seeing yourself through the lens of someone who didn't love you properly. You have to stop carrying the weight of every time someone made you feel small. You have to stop shrinking just to make others comfortable. You were never meant to be small. You were never meant to dim your light to fit in. You were born to shine, to grow, to evolve, to take up space unapologetically. So if you feel insecure today, I want you to take a deep breath and remember this. You are enough. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to not have all the answers. You are allowed to be a work in progress and still be worthy, still be valuable, still be deserving of love. Confidence doesn't come from pretending you have it all together. It comes from embracing your real, raw, unfiltered self. It comes from speaking your truth even when your voice shakes. It comes from choosing self-respect over self-doubt. Every time you choose to believe in yourself even just a little, you weaken the voice of insecurity, and eventually, your belief becomes louder than your fear. So don't let the world tell you who you are. Don't let one failure, one breakup, one rejection define your worth. You are not your scars. You are your strengths. You are not your past. You are your potential. In a world that profits from your self-doubt, loving yourself is a rebellious act. So rebel. Love yourself as you are, not when you become richer, not when you lose weight, not when you're finally successful, but right now, right here. You are enough.